Hello, everybody. So today I am very excited to share this topic about visionaries and integrators and how do you figure out who you are? Are you a visionary or are you an integrator? Just figuring out that one question can change the trajectory of your business. Are you a visioner? The path to sustainable growth in business is about not working harder. It's about understanding who you are and how you can work in your zone of genius. How can you be a right complement for your strengths and align with your team accordingly? So today we want to discover the differences between a visionary and an integrator and how to determine your seat with clarity. Are you in chaos? Are you living in this world with 100 ideas racing through your mind daily, but no way to get them executed, no traction, despite constant motion and endless hustle? Do you have VAs, but no systems to guide them, no way to keep them consistent? You got deals coming in, but nothing closing because the follow through falls apart. Does this sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Most people in sub two are probably the ones that have all the ideas that are trying to move forward, but they just have no way to keep the follow through. There's good news. There's a clear path from the chaos to the clarity. It starts with understanding who you really are. So some of us are probably integrators, some of us are probably visionaries. Like I said, most people in sub two are visionaries, but the good part is we actually have a whole network of integrators we can team up with in top tier TC. We want to figure out who are we and what do we need. Most investors never scale. And that's just because they're trying to sit in every seat. They have no clarity or clear operating identity. They're hustling with no structure and they're trying to wear all the hats. And if you're doing all of that and trying to do it without a team, you're going to burn out and you're not going to get there. So, how do you figure out what your best match is and how you build that team? I'm Jennifer Brightbaugh. I'm an operator at heart. I was in the military for 20 years. I was a logistics officer. I was a HR officer. And I actually was a fuel platoon leader for a fueling company. So we did all kinds of logistics. I worked on in all kinds of operations. And after I got out, I became a program manager for an engineering company. I've had a lot of experience in developing systems and processes and helping teams grow. Lately, I've been working with a lot of people trying to help them to figure out, are they visionaries? Are they integrators? And how can they scale? I just enjoy having those conversations. We put this together with some other partners to really help other people find their team members as well. So there's 4 core challenges why investor businesses fail, why businesses stall, especially new businesses. There's misaligned wiring. People are sitting in the wrong seat and they're forcing themselves to do work that contradicts their natural strengths. Visionaries without integrators generate endless ideas but achieve minimal execution. You need someone who can take your vision, make it operational reality through consistent and structured implementations. A lot of the time, a visionary will have a hard time communicating their full vision. It's really that integrator's job to pull that vision and get all the clarity from that visionary so that they can go execute and line out the team. They need somebody there to fix this chaos. When you're solo and scaling, you can't do it alone. You need a team. We're about to talk about that framework. I call it entrepreneur operating blueprint. You got to decide who you are, how you work, what are you great at, and who do you need? So the who, not how, right? You need to find your who's. If you're an integrator, is finding your visionary, and if you're a visionary, finding your integrator. I like to interchange integrator and operator, but finding that person that's going to bring the visionary's vision to life. These 4 components work together so that you can fully get the traction that you need. First, identity. Who are you? One thing I would recommend is there's a bunch of different surveys you can take to figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, so you can really find those team members. The first one is the Visionary Integrator Assessment. I'll give you the link to that one. So take, but some other ones to consider looking at would be the Clifton Strengths, which I highly recommend. I actually keep index that measures how you would take action or solve problems. And then this super quick self-test. Do you prefer generating ideas or executing them? Are you creating vision or do you like building systems? So just even taking that quick assessment can help you determine what you naturally gravitate to. That can really help. Some people are going to be very obviously a visionary or very obviously an integrator. I like to say I'm an integrator with visionary tendencies. Jordan's the visionary on our team, and I would say that he has integrator tendencies. So we really complement each other, and that's what you want to find. But I'll say I had an identity crisis when I first started. I sat down with Chino Monte, and we had a discussion about whether I was a visionary and an integrator. And that was like a 3, 4 a.m. discussion. I actually have a video, but he said, Jen, you're a high level operator. And I think it took me almost a year to accept that because it was very difficult to accept. I thought that I was a visionary, but I tend towards wanting to actually build the teams and wanting to put the systems in place. I have big ideas. So a give and take a lot of the time. You have to assess yourself and find somebody who's a good counterpart. So you can have an identity crisis, but once you get on a team and you find somebody that complements you, then you often don't really have to necessarily label yourself. Visionaries generate endless ideas. They see possibilities everywhere. They drive them. They have energy. They're risk takers. They excel usually at acquisitions and new deals. They thrive in the front, creating opportunities, and they're energized by change and pursuing the next best thing. Leaders build reliable systems. They create and excel at follow through and making sure a vision is turned into reality. They manage the operations, they build the teams, they stabilize the business, and they're energized by completion and making things work smoothly. So when you have this powerhouse team, things go really well. A visionary is constantly making big ideas when the integrator is making them work. You'll often see the visionary is very optimistic and the integrator can be looked as pessimistic. And they're not necessarily pessimistic, but they are the realists, right? They are the ones who help the visionary see whether their ideas will work or help figure out a way to make them work. Both are essential, and the magic happens when they work together. Here's an example of a buy and hold business. You've got leads, and then they turn into acquisitions, and then you have to dispo them, and then you're into operations. A visionary tends to be on the front end. They tend to be the one bringing in the leads and doing the acquisition side. And the integrator tends to be the one that dispos it and operates the real estate. So that's a really high level, but that's a real example in how the integrator and visionary can work together. Visionary plus integrator equals traction. When the roles work together, the ideas can become reality. Solo entrepreneur is a trap. You can never grow and scale without having a team. When you find your complement, you get to spend every day doing the thing that energizes you while someone else handles what energizes them. So I've talked about Jordan and I and building our team. Jordan has big ideas. He's quick. He brings the opportunities and he has natural strengths to be out front and lead and take risks. And more of a realist, I like to have robust systems and execute on the vision. When Jordan came to me and said, hey, let's close this RV park and join forces, I went ahead and jumped in at that opportunity. We've just been working on building alignment ever since, and it's been really great. Taking action today, we take the tool out. Are you an operator or an integrator? I also recommend doing the Clifton strengths and decide your seat based on those results and build out your accountability chart. Start visualizing what kind of business do you have? Is it a fix and flip business? Is it a buy and hold? Is it a wholesale business? Then what team do you need underneath you? So this is what you learn. They don't build their team and they try to do it all themselves. Figure out who you are and who you need to be your counterpart. Sit in the right seat and build the right team, and your business will become unstoppable. Don't do it alone. At the bottom of this is the link to the survey, the quiz, figure out if you are an integrator or an operator.